What is going on? It is another beautiful Nerdiculous podcast. I am always Drew, and today with me is my good friend. He is a fellow nerd, obviously, as the title, but he's also a photographer who does a lot of cosplay photos. My buddy John. What's going on, John?
Much actually. Working on some right now.
Always fun stuff. I'm actually kind of bummed there haven't been a lot of conventions lately. It's one of those things like I have fun, but I also haven't had time to get anything ready, so I'm struggling to get caught up with building costumes. It's one of those things you never have enough time to build the 800 and some costumes you have an idea for.
You just gotta make time.
Yeah. That is that it's funny though cuz like I'll start working on one costume. Like I'm working on Roadhog right now, and I'll actually be getting somewhere because I'm getting help with getting the vest made, and I'm making some slight alterations to the vest because in the video game character, it's one of those ones where it's clearly like a life jacket style vest, the way it sits, but it doesn't feasibly wear properly. So I'm making it more like a biker vest. So it's just kind of easier to wear.
Yeah, but Roadhog's, as I've always said, is probably one of the easier Overwatch characters to kind of do. Really, it's just the minute details that makes him a lot harder to do.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that one. Like his vest, I'm trying to at least get like the front like little hooks, the buttons and stuff. But like I said, it's one of those things. I'm like, oh man, it's so much time, and then you to make his scrap gun, to make his hook, to make his pot, to make his mask, and it's like, do I need to make his shotgun? Because I feel like most people are gonna like, you don't really see it all that much, so it's not even worth.
Well, maybe that should be why you should make that shotgun. Just because so many people do not make it.
Yeah, it's the hard part is just going to be figuring out how to model it because like there is no real reference for it. It's just like you see the handle of it, and then you see the satchel or the sheath that it's in, the scabbard. So it's just making all that stuff, but
Well, I mean, you could always just go in and pirate the game file, take the model directly from the game, and then using that to convert it into a 3D printer model.
yeah, I don't know how to do that. I mean, if I could, I would, and just like get the file to print it, but I legitimately do not know how to do that. I've tried looking up to see if anyone has a 3D version of like his back gun, and I've never found anything. I think it's one of those things that most people just ignore it and they're like, whatever.
Well, I mean, if you don't want to try to figure out how to model it yourself, you could always commission one of those 3D modelers to commission. Make it for you.
I could try to model it myself, but it's one of those things like trying to swap time, trying to split time among like 100 different things, like working on a costume, working on a story, It's. I wish there was two of me, and I could stream more.
Okay, I can say mostly that I wish I is a very scary prospect of having two of you. I fear the day you come and say, "Hey, John, I'm going to be a father," because that's the day I'm going to probably leave the country.
I'm not that bad-ish.
Exactly, not that bad-ish.
Well, like I said, my clone's main job would be like doing the odd and end stuff. Like, okay, 1 week you go to work, I stay home, and I do like house stuff, work on the odd and end cosplay stories, blah blah blah. And then next week we switch, and then you stay home and you work on that stuff. I go to work. You're not going to see us out together at the same time. It's going to be like on and off. Like one of us is going to be a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah, but how long before one of you makes the mistake?
Well,
wait, I thought this was your day to stay home. Shoot.
Well,
you're out at work. All your coworkers are like, I knew it.
Well, then I get double the money, right? You pay me twice as much if there's two of me there.
I don't think that's how that works. I don't think that's how. I think it'll be like the Joker. Just take a pull stick, break it in half, say, okay, who wants to join our team? Throws one down, says, survivor stays on.
Then he can go to work, and I'll just stay home forever. I'll be the stay-at-home dad. I don't care. I've had that conversation with someone. I'd be like, yeah, if I married someone who was really successful and made a lot of money, and she was like, well, why don't you just stay home and take care of the kids? I'd be like, okay. Like I'm not that like overly like insecure that I wouldn't be a stay-at-home dad. Like if my wife was pulling in like 6 figures or something like that, like a solid 6 figures, and she's like, just stay at home and take care of the kids and do all the housework, I'd do it. I'd even like, she was like, but you have to wear a maid outfit all the time. I'd be like, done. Don't care. I'll be the stay-at-home dad. I will let you wear the pants. Don't care.
So just you normally. Like, okay, got it.
Yeah, who needs pants? Pants are overrated.
I know, right?
So I love how TwitchCon's going on right now. And then you like my phone, my phone gets news stories because it caters to me, and I've been getting all kinds of like stories like, oh, this happened at TwitchCon, that happened at TwitchCon. And I'm like, I feel like TwitchCon itself is a dangerous place. Just that so many personalities, you have your IRL streamers, your Let's Chat streamers, your game stream, and I just feel like it's like how whenever I hang out with my cosplay friends and my non-cosplay friends, it's kind of like a fine line. You don't really always want those two groups to meet because it's like there's gonna be some headbutting going on.
I think you'd be surprised. I know, with me doing as much as I do, a lot of the cosplayers, they are my friends, and a lot of my regular friends probably would be fine with people I have learned and met. I do see some that would have some issues, definitely. That's just the way of life is, though.
Yeah, I think it's just there's 2 levels of intensity. Like my non-cosplay friends, like I play paintball with, I mostly drink with them and stuff like that, and they have like their own unique. They are very big at like. Some of my cosplay friends, like, if they believe in something passionately, like, they get salty. I've had those interactions with like my cosplay and non-cosplay friends where like somebody's made a comment and then another person gets like really offended by it. They're like, what do you mean? This definitely isn't the case. And it's like, oh no.
What would you say as salty as when you got labeled wrongly when you were was it Roadhog that day?
What did I get labeled?
When they said this is hunk Roadhog or whatever.
No, that's what it was supposed to be.
Was it supposed to be?
It was road honk. It was a play on words. I was more or less upset with myself because I rushed that costume and didn't really like put. I should have put more time into it and kind of didn't finish it like I wanted to. So I was more just aggravated with myself because it didn't look the way I wanted. Like I rushed my half. I kind of last minute a friend to help me with it, and it kind of it got rushed. But I don't know. It's so funny because I find myself watching Twitch a lot. Like there's times where I really want to stream, and like I've been streaming a little bit on Borderlands lately. Sometimes like I'll get on, do a couple hours, but for the most part it's like for me personally it's hard to stream because sometimes I just want to get up and walk away for 20 minutes. Like, oh, I could go do laundry right now, or I'm gonna go make myself something to eat. And then it's like, well, you're there to entertain people too, so you kind of also gotta think about who's watching. Like I've heard streamers talk about it, like some of them, they don't take any days off because you do that and you start losing subscribers.
You can't take time off if you're gonna go stream and you're gonna stream full time. You kind of have to go. You've got to be a full bore on it.
Yeah.
As much as everyone wants to make fun of Asmongold, he's fully committed. He's there the whole time, even no matter how much I get salty about all of his followers giving him free gold in game because WoW Classic isn't hard enough to make gold to begin with.
Oh my god, the amount of Twitch streams that I saw that were playing that whenever it first came out, it was just insane. Like it was just all over the front page of like, this is the only game. There's nothing.
Oh, even now, there's still top 10 on streams.
Oh yeah,
classic.
But I think the one thing is like someone who isn't a big name streamer, like for me, like there's like a mental health aspect to it and just taking a break where it's like, yeah, people, like, hey, I come home from a shitty day and I want to watch this streamer and I want to laugh and have a good time. But there's also that aspect of like, they're still a human being. They've got to eat. They've got to use the bathroom. They need days off too. Like, just the demand of like having to stream like 8 to 10 hours a day minimum. Like, a lot of the streamers that I watch stream like 8 to 10 hours. And one of the streamers that I watch, Vader, is a European streamer. And he streams late at night for him because his big audience is US. Like, a lot of his audience is American. And so, like, it's late, like, it's like, late at night for him when everyone's getting off work and getting on to watch him. So it's like, God, that's got to even be more brutal to be a streamer who is in Europe and has a big audience in the U.S.
They get used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have a decent amount over on their side, too. It's not just U.S.
But like I said, it's still one of those things of like, I just want to take a week off, go spend time with my girlfriend, go on vacation. And then people are like, where are you? Why aren't you here? It's like,
I mean, you're gonna get that regardless.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, like I've watched videos where ninjas discussed stuff like that, like post Twitch breakup, where he talked about if I go away for a week, I drop 30K subs, and for someone who is getting 200,000 subs or some insane number. It doesn't seem like a lot, but still to drop a lot. He's like, I drop a lot of subs if I'm not on every day for 8 to 10 hours a day. Like, people get bored quick and they just go away. Like it's instant gratification almost. Like
it's the fact of what the platform is. Okay, so you don't have the same thing that you have with YouTube. YouTube, they create the content. You go there for the content, for the entertainment value. But for Twitch, it's more personal.
Yeah.
You're not going for a persona. You're going for the hangout, to actually engage with someone online.
Yeah.
So you're going to see like certain YouTubers that have moved over to the Twitch platform aren't as successful as they are on YouTube. But that's because you can't just bring over a persona to Twitch, because you can't wear a persona for 8 hours a day. You can't wear a persona for 12 hours a day. You have to be more yourself, more genuine.
Yeah. And some people, like, they can be entertaining on a pre-recorded thing because you don't have chat in your ear saying, do this, don't do this. It's already done and over with, so the chat is just reacting to post. But yeah, no, I agree. It is worlds different going from doing something pre-recorded to doing something live, because you have to have a certain energy to keep people with you, or they're just going to be like, nah, I'm done, bye.
It's also something different. It's just, as someone would say, you have to kind of find your niche.
Yeah, your groove.
And once you get it, like, I know I'm struggling because I usually, whenever I'm live, I play off the chat. Well, if I don't have a chat room, that's a really boring stream for me, just because although I can see people watching, no one's talking in chat, so that means I have nothing to play off of, so I'm mostly focusing on doing something on my game than anything else.
See, that's why I like my creative stuff. For my creative stuff, like, I couldn't stream creatively because when I'm writing, I kind of get lost in a story. So even though people in my chat are talking, I'm so like focused on what I'm working on and the story and the characters that I just like, oh wait, there's people here right now. Whoops. But I've done it. But like, it was funny. I was in Chicago for a paintball tournament with a bunch of my buddies, and they had a webcast going for one of the fields. And that webcast, anybody could go on and talk because it was divisional teams, it wasn't pros. So like, they're like, you come sit down, put the headphones on, you can talk. And I was like, I've had a couple beers. Like, I'm in a good mood now after we lost. So I jumped on and I started talking. And like, a couple people at first were like, no, bring so-and-so back. Bring this guy back. And then after a while of me talking, they were like, all right, you're pretty good. Like, you know what you're talking about. Because like, absolutely love paintball. I love everything about it. And as someone who knows how paintball works and the field layouts, I can be like, yeah, no, you like, this guy's moving up here. Oh, gets shot cross field, should have, checked off this. So like, I can kind of, and I was playing off the crowd because there was a lot of people in the chat already watching because it's a free paintball webcast. And if anyone knows something about paintball players, it's like we're all broke. Like we are just broke at sports expensive. But like people are like, oh, you're pretty good, you know? And it's like, yeah, I guess it's one of those things. Like I know a lot about paintball, so I can be, you know, more entertaining with it. But like, no, I've definitely been in chats where it's alone, where it's just me and people watching and no one talking, and I just kind of just, I just pretend like I'm talking to the characters in game. Like with Borderlands 3, like I'll just react to stuff in the game and just either that or I'll just sing stupid songs in my head because to me that's funny.
Well, I still like I know because I've been looking at ways to grow my stream because I want my stream to be a little bit better. No, I'm not going to be a full-time streamer. That's not what I actually want. It's more of an outlet for me or just something to do on the side. So I have to get better with making my social media aspect because that's really what it is. You want to get your Instagram game going. You want to bring people from outside of Twitch to watch you on stream. That's how you start going. That's how you get yourself noticed. Because Twitch is the worst platform for discoverability, bar none. They only cater to certain people. And like, for example, I'm sure you've heard of the cosplayer Amaranth and her
Oopsie.
Whoops. Yeah.
Her oopsies.
Yeah. Let's put it in quotations. Oopsie. Okay, because that's I mean, and not that I have anything against lewd cosplayers or people who will sell prints that are special prints. But this is using that to get publicity to gain more followers. Because you know, after her Oopsie stream, she gained like 40,000 followers.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous. This is wrong.
I think I know there's some people that aren't a fan of hers because apparently like she's done a lot of like Twitch, like one of the problems, and like Ninja made a comment about this the other week, is like the problem, a lot of the problems that people have with Twitch is bipolar when it comes to their terms of service. Like apparently Amaranth has been reported dozens of times for like over sexualization on stream. And people are, and like whoever the mods are or whatever, just ignore it. They're like, whatever, you know. I respect the hustle. Like I have friends that, like as you said, do lewd cosplay and make money doing it, and like I'm totally for it. Like I respect the hustle.
Yeah,
like
but they're honest about it. They're honest. They're doing it the right way. It's not like they're using it as a way to get more shock value to gain more from it. They are exactly what they at face value. Now she puts on the face that this is not intentional, it's accidental.
Yeah.
And then she plays the victim card. Like she's being targeted because she's a, you know, very attractive woman. No, you're being targeted because you're being you're being stupid.
Like I said, if she like, I don't have a problem with stuff like that because I've had this conversation with people before. Like there are Twitch streamers who are popular because they are cute and you know like, and people get mad. Like I've heard people like, oh, well, you know, if they weren't on this channel and Twitch were to get rid of them, you know, Twitch would be such a better place. Like, but not really, because there are people that come to Twitch for that. Like there are people that want to see a cute girl talk, and even if she's horrible to video game, like they're there to see her and get attention from her, you know? Like that's what they're there for, you know? Like for me, like I've been watching a lot of roleplay streams for Grand Theft Auto, and there are only like 4 or 5 people that I watch regularly because they are just so insanely entertaining and crack me up. And like I pretty much, if they're not there, I don't care to watch. Like there's like 5 or 6 streamers that I watch religiously, and if they're not on, I'll look to see if anyone's like, you know, having a good stream. But that's the same way. Like you have someone that's like, I'm here to see Amaranth play Dance Dance Revolution in a halter top and shorts, and that's it. Like I don't care that so and so is, you know, an amazing sniper at this game. Like I don't care to see that, you know. Like there's people that are here for just chatting, you know. Like I'm, you know, and that's fine.
Don't think I'm bashing the in IRL or the just chatting people, because by all means, if she was only just doing that, well, who gives a crap?
Well, like I said, I respect, like there are people that are here to talk to her and, you know, to be to see, like I said, a cute girl talk to them, which is fine. Like I said, that doesn't bother me. Like, respect the hustle. Like, I joked with one of my one cosplay friend yesterday. I was like, dude, if people would pay me for sexy photos of my cosplays, I'd do it. I don't give a shit. Someone like, hey,
you don't have the guts.
I work out.
This is a challenge.
I work out 4 to 5 days a week for the sheer fact is to make road hunk a real thing, like a 6-pack, real muscles. And I had one of my cosplay friends has done Virgin Killer sweater photo shoots, and I made the joke about doing it, and her chat, who I'm friends with because I mod with some of them, like we mod her Twitch channel, and some of them were like, do it. And every once in a while, they'll make that comment, be like, hey, you getting to them yet? And I'm like, I'll get to them. I just got to get into a really good shape so that, like, it's, like, people see it and be like, God damn, that dude is fucking cut.
Yeah. You have no balls. Just do it.
See, but I want to look good when I do it. Like, I want to, like, have, like, real good definition, Like, I don't want to be, like, that guy that goes to the random convention in the Virgin Killer and jeans because, oh, well, I'm technically wearing the Virgin Killer even though I have jeans on. Like I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna be like in shape and nothing but the Virgin Killer, and people are gonna be like, okay.
What you trying to say that I can't do the Virgin Killer?
I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying, there's the guys that'll just put it on and then wear jeans underneath it, and you're like, what's the point of wearing the Virgin Killer if you're gonna wear jeans with it, bro? Or why do you have a T-shirt on underneath it? Like, I know you'll do it. Like I respect the drip. All right, I'm not Karen. I respect the drip. I know you'll do it.
Yeah,
but
don't like the girlfriend learned really quickly not to challenge me to do something.
Yeah,
I will do it.
No, but like I said, like I respect anyone that's on Twitch doing their thing. Like I don't care. Just be honest about it. And like I said, for me, like I think my problem kind of comes from like the terms and conditions. Like I don't care that Amaranth dances to DDR. Like I don't, because the people are there to watch her or another cute. I watch people like Shroud, Dr. Disrespect, because those people are entertaining. Like, one, they're really good at the games. Two, they're really entertaining. They have great
Doctor
value.
did make that mistake, and he did need to get banned. I mean, that wasn't.
Yeah, and I think
was a stupid mistake.
And Amaranth,
he should have known not to record in a bathroom.
Yeah, and he, like I said, that's like he got suspended, which he should have. Amaranth, she got suspended as she should have. Like that's my biggest gripe. Like, just the terms and conditions. Like, if you do something wrong, get punished for it. Like, I saw a news article that Tfue said a no. He said a naughty word, a derogatory word, and they were like, this was his third strike, and apparently nothing came about it that I know of. Like, I never saw anything else.
Nope.
And
I think he got like a 3-day ban or something like that.
Oh, did he? Because that was his third strike, and supposedly on your third strike's a permaban.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, he's Tfue, though.
Yeah, he's making Twitch.
It's one of those things where if you're not going to enforce your own TOS straight across the board, I don't care what the guy's bringing you.
Yeah, that's...
Because you know what? Because guess what? You ban him, all those followers will not leave the platform. They'll just go to different streamers.
Yeah.
But
the problem is you will have some, like it wasn't a big jump, but like when Ninja left to go to Mixer... Not everybody left, but some people did. Some people followed. So, yeah, if you get rid of Tfue, people will leave because they are here strictly for Tfue. But the fact of the matter is, he was on strike 3. He said a highly offensive word, which, like, I think it's like one of those things that, like, everyone's said something really, really fucked up once or twice in their life. And, you're not thinking about it. But like I said, like third strike, you've got to be like, especially like I think he has a younger audience too.
Yeah, that's why there was as much outrage as there was.
Yeah, like I understand it was a heat of the moment. Like when I play PUBG, like I get into it, like I get angry. But like I said, when you're as big as he is, you have to have a sense of awareness of like what you're saying. And I think that's what a lot of people get upset about is you have these big name streamers that get away with murder, and you have these lesser known streamers that don't have the clout that say something that the Twitch's system picks up as inappropriate, even though it's not, and then it's just like, goodbye, you're done, and then they're trying to fight it, and Twitch is like, well, we don't address this stuff. What is done is done. And it's like, so okay, so this little known streamer who didn't actually say anything wrong, your AI or your system misheard it and banned them. You're going to enforce that, but somebody said something they shouldn't have, clear as day, and you're going to be like, well, I mean, he did, but he didn't really mean it, Like, that's my biggest problem is they even said, the joke was like, oh, at TwitchCon, they're like, we're gonna, we're doing more for our terms and our terms of our terms of service and stuff like that. Like, we're gonna follow them more. And it's like, really? Because you let Alinity yeet a cat over her head, and we're like, nah, that's cool.
Yeah, and I would have put that under. I thought that was against the rules of terms
it
of
is.
service because animal cruelty. But
yeah, well, she also force fed her cat vodka. There's an old clip that somebody dug up of her drinking vodka and like went to kiss her cat and forced the vodka into the cat's mouth, and you're like, how is this okay? How is this acceptable? Like, why are you gonna let people do stuff like that? And then you have like, like there was another story that I saw. It was like it was a small streamer. They went to host somebody or something, and it was like something that shouldn't have been on their screen came up, and it was an accident. Like, it was something that like, oh shit, shouldn't have been there. And got away from it, and it was like permaban. Bye. No, like, hey, we know you made it was an accident. It was, sorry, you're gone. Bye. Like, I understand, like, as a business, you need to protect your assets. Like, the NFL does it all the time. Like I understand the NFL does this all the time when a big name athlete does something like really messed up. Like, how many times has a pro athlete got a DUI and killed somebody, and the NFL's like, 3 games, he'll be back.
Well,
it's
I mean,
fine.
the killing part, that's not as.
But
common.
there have been professional athletes that have done like criminal acts and gotten a lot of trouble.
There have been that have done some really effed up stuff.
So I understand that like Twitch has to look out for its money. Like, hey, if this streamer leaves, they could take, let's say 30% of their audience with them to another channel, and that's 30% of our money gone. But at the same time is Twitch has so many streamers on it. You're going to tell me that like someone couldn't pick up, like Ninja left, and yeah, a lot of people left, but then you've seen like new streamers coming up. You've seen.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying, is that even though he did leave, and he still has followers over on Mixer. I mean, they still came over to Mixer with him.
Yeah.
But they didn't fully leave the platform because they are going after watching other streams.
Yeah.
Because if you look at his streams, he's not as popular as he was on Twitch over on Mixer.
But like you said, I understand he had a deal and an opportunity to go somewhere else and get guaranteed money.
Yeah, and there's no reason to even fault them for it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, and then Twitch exactly didn't do the greatest thing by
how they reacted.
And then what they immediately did on with his channel is just
didn't they use his channel to host other streamers, and then like one streamer was like hosting another one, and that stream had like porn on it.
Porn. Yeah.
Yeah.
First day.
Oops. Oopsie daisies.
Shoot. Whoops.
I made it.
They also they removed all of his like special stuff, all of his like custom stuff from this channel.
Yeah, they
like how dare you?
Like, it was a business. It wasn't personal. It was business. It was, hey, I have, I will he was the face of Twitch, but he was also had a lot of competition on Twitch, like Shroud, Tfue, Dr. Disrespect, where on Mixer, I don't really know anyone on Mixer, to be honest, other than him. Like, I know PewDiePie streams on something, but I don't think it's Mixer. I think he streams on Blender.
Can't comment on it because I don't honestly. I've used Mixer back when I played NHL hockey religiously and online, where I was competitive in sixes leagues. But since then, I haven't really done much on Mixer at all.
Well, also Twitch has the backing of Amazon, so you have.
Well, I mean, you can't. I mean, that is just Amazon. I
Yeah,
wouldn't go that far with it.
but what I mean though is like, Twitch can afford to be like, hey, listen, you screwed up and you're gone. Bye. Like we know that you bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars for us every month, but you're also saying some really offensive stuff, and we can't allow that. We're trying to be a family-friendly platform. I mean, for the most part. I mean, some of the streamers I watch just are dropping F-bombs left and right.
Well, there's now family platform is different. Okay, so the truth is that you can drop swear words and all that, and it'd be fine. But you can't say certain profanity, like racist stuff. You can't
say homophobic,
be homophobic slurs. You can't use slurs. You can't do
which is fine. Like you really shouldn't be using that kind of stuff anyway. Like you don't really need to be dropping those. And there's some people that certain words like certain homophobic slurs were so popular for a while where it's like, well, it didn't mean that when we use it as kids, like, but it does. So
I mean, let's be honest. That's exactly what that is. Even when we were kids.
Yeah, it's like it's always meant the same thing, even if you didn't think it was. Like you and your friends use it to mean something else, but it's all But like I said, my biggest thing, period, point blank, is like Twitch just needs to understand. Like we need to be more willing to say, okay, we know you're a big streamer, but you can't be the exception to the rules, because that's unfair to other streamers who are trying to make their name and are getting shit on,
Yeah, it's the fact is that they refuse to be very one-sided with the rules. They're streamer. It's the streamer privilege. The ones that have a lot of views,
a lot of pull.
If you don't have pull on the platform, they don't care.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. I mean, but YouTube's the same way though. Like,
I mean, you're not wrong. YouTube is the same way, and I can speak from my own personal experience with YouTube. Is that back when I was more involved and I had a decent amount, I'd see that I saw that I was at times not being treated the same as some of the lower subscriber counts. Even looking now with the whole new changing to their verification platform, it's changed. They want it to be more like a business. They want the more famous people on their platform. They want people that can bring advertisers that want to be on their stuff.
Yeah, because
some of the smaller channels, like I remember back in the golden days of YouTube, where this was more of a talking point. You'd have the like tough political chats and stuff like that, and you wouldn't have to worry about being demonetized. But now, most channels that have to deal with religion, politics, or anything like that, they're almost quickly demonetized because that is considered taboo now to speak on the platform.
But I mean, the problem with politics is you have channels like lesser known, like an example is like Philip DeFranco, who gets demonetized on a regular basis for speaking politics, stuff like that. But then you have like Stephen Colbert and the talk show hosts that have NBC, CBS backing them, and they never get demonetized. But it's like they're talking about the same exact thing. It's just one of them has a multi-billion-dollar company backing it, and the other is his own.
You understand why? Because YouTube wants more of that because it brings a lot more viewers.
See, for me, it's all about the entertaining people. I
wish it was just entertaining, but I mean, you're gonna sit here and tell me that some of the stuff on YouTube's entertaining. But anyway, we're getting derailed out of nerd culture.
Yeah, I
about that tangent.
No, I understand it's a business, but I don't know. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, a big celebrity can bring you stuff in, but I don't know. I like the small people. Like, speaking of small people and big companies, how about Sony and Disney kissing and making up?
Okay, so as I reported multiple times on my Facebook, I'm not sure if you even noticed, because I didn't really make too much of a claim about it. They didn't have a choice. Sony, this third movie was happening regardless of Sony and them made this deal. Okay, so this deal wasn't so much as with the third movie, but more of with what happens with him with the MCU
Yeah.
and Venom and all that. Because in the old contract, the second movie, if it eclipsed $1 billion, it was a options clause that automatically activated once they hit the $1 billion mark that there would be a third movie. So once that happened, it was happening. There was no leeway there unless Sony paid the penalty to get out of it.
Yeah.
Sony was not going to pay the penalty because Sony is a company right now that is, to be honest, become the worst gaming company as I can know it. They are caring all about the wrong things. Venom is a bad movie. No matter what anyone wants to say, was it entertaining in certain parts? Tom Hardy saved the movie in my eyes as far as being at least at all watchable.
I really like Tom Hardy just in general. Like every movie I've seen him in, I like him in it. Like even if the movie's not good, I'm like, man, he's just a really good actor.
He clearly gets into these and he had fun with the movie. You could tell that he clearly was enjoying himself, even though if you read the script and you sit there and you watch it, it was so bad. Chelsea fell asleep. She couldn't stay awake. I was there and I forced myself to watch this movie. And knowing how I am with films, I forced myself to watch this movie 6 times. Through the HBO app because I wanted to see what is it? What were they really trying to do? What was their actual intention with this movie? The fact is, they introduced Venom into their universe the wrong way. It has no feel. What they did with Eddie Brock was interesting, but it still loses the whole point. Is that what was Venom's real core feeling behind it? Why did Venom even become anti-hero? It was his time with Peter Parker that really pushed him in the area where he was going.
Yeah, Peter Parker's what made him want to be a not bad guy like the rest of his planet. You know, like everything else on his planet is evil, and he
let's
was
not
like,
get wrong. He's still a bad guy. Venom is one of the best anti-heroes in the Marvel.
But he's not Carnage, though.
Spider-Man.
But he's not.
No,
Carnage.
He's not Carnage. Carnage is purely just he's. Like I would say, Venom is more akin to Punisher, but a little bit more to the bad side, because even Punisher had his limits.
Yeah, even
Venom
Punisher
just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. I think it was one of those things they were trying to bring in another anti-hero because they saw the success of Deadpool. This is my personal.
If they were trying to use Venom as another Deadpool, they really.
Well, again, this was Sony's trying to make a.
Well, let's be honest. Let's not sugarcoat this. Sony's never made a good Spider-Man movie.
I mean, the first two weren't terrible.
No. Sony's the only Sony movie that in Spider-Man that I actually was slightly enjoying, and even then they still screwed it up, was the Amazing Spider-Man movie 1 and 2. And the only reason I couldn't love these movies is because instead of just letting it be a one bad guy kind of movie, they kept pulling the same shit that Sam Raimi did back in Tobey Maguire's days of let's pack as many villains into this movie so we can keep their copyright label.
Well, I think
and just have it Spider-Man versus these 4. It's like, well, you don't need 4 villains to make a movie. You don't need 3 villains to make a movie. You need one major villain, and you need some drama. I mean, for God's sakes, you lost so much with Tobey's 3 Spider-Man movies, which they weren't good. They weren't well written. Tobey Maguire was okay as Peter Parker, but when it came to being actual Spider-Man, he had no wit, no sarcasm along with it. And then you had the opposite true with Andrew Garfield, where he was great when he was in the mask, but when you had him as Peter Parker itself, it wasn't believable.
Yeah, it definitely was.
And then you have Tom Holland, who, let's be honest, is he a great Spider-Man? He's not bad at all. He's actually pretty good, but is he all the way there? No, I mean,
I think he is the best of the 3.
He's a good mix between the 2 that we've had prior.
I think his wit as Spider-Man is really good, but outside the costume is where I think it needs work. I think in the costume is amazing. I think outside of the costume is where it could get a little bit better. But I think all in all, like, he is a solid choice for Spider-Man. Like, he is very believable. he has that kind of like, and he's also young. Like he was what, 20 when they first started filming or something like that with him.
Oh, Tom, I think was.
I want to say he was like 20 or 20. Like he was like late teens, early 20s when they started with him as Spider-Man.
Well, let's see. He's 23 right now. I think Spider-Man: Far From Home. Homecoming came out in 2017, so he would have been 21 when Homecoming came out. He would have been 20 when Civil War came out. So
Okay.
filming would have been 19.
Yeah, so
19,
believable. You know.
Well, he's also one of those guys that
He's gonna look like he's 15 forever.
Yeah,
for
he's
a
gonna
while.
have that like baby. He's gonna look like a young kid for a while. He might be another Tobey Maguire where he's like what I think Tobey Maguire is like 40s now and
He still looks
like 20.
But the one thing I was gonna say is when the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies came out, I don't think there was many. There was, because I know there were Batmans before. There were Batman movies before that, but I don't think there was really anything Marvel side. Was there? I'm trying to think back.
For what?
Like superhero movies back when the first Spider-Man came out.
No, so when they I remember the timeline here. Okay, so when Marvel sold Spider-Man to Sony, they were going bankrupt.
Yeah.
So that sell kept Marvel from going under, and that's when they started saying after the success of Spider-Man that wow, we kind of had something here. We should have maybe gone into the movies, and then they kind of got themselves right the ship, and then Disney went and bought Marvel. But yeah, remember they didn't just sell Spider-Man at that time too. They sold Namor, and
Fantastic Four,
X-Men all around the same time.
Yeah, they were just wholesale.
And all those, they wholesaled some of their bigger names. As we know, we finally got X-Men back to the MCU.
But that's what I'm saying though, is I thought that, other than Batman movies, there were no Marvel,
Well, you gotta remember, Batman's not Marvel.
But that's what I mean though, is like Marvel, Sony, like they had not ever made a movie before. Like Sony hadn't really made a superhero movie like Spider-Man or X-Men. So it was one of those things that like it was new territory, for the most part. It was like, let's see how this goes. For the longest time, like the only thing we had with superheroes was cartoons, and TV shows.
Well, let's see. You had Superman.
Yeah.
You did have the Namor movie back in the late 80s, I think. You did have Fantastic Four multiple times.
Oh yeah, okay.
3
So there
times.
was okay.
You did have, and don't forget,
were those...
you did have Captain America in '91. A lot of people forget about that. That was a really crappy movie, though.
See,
really,
again,
really bad. Captain America '90 movie.
Have you ever seen the original Batman movie though? Like
Yeah,
the one before the TV
wait,
series?
Wait, you're talking about like the before Michael Keaton, right?
Like before the Adam West Batman. Like before the TV show, there was like a movie. I don't think it was originally called a Batman movie, but it was based on.
Wasn't it called Detective? Oh my god.
Yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about. Like the Batman costume just did not look good at all, and you were like, ooh.
No, I think it was 1940s. It was called. Yeah, it was based on the Detective Comics, and they called it. No, they just called it Batman. It was 1966 was the first actual featured film.
Okay.
That one was based off Adam West and Burt Ward, but you had one that was 2 serial films in 1940s, Batman and Robin. That was based off the Detective Comics.
Yeah.
But those ones were serial films. Those ones are not much. They weren't really.
But like I said, I think the one problem Sony's been having is like they've struggled with movies to begin with. Like even aside from their video game issues, they have struggled a lot with movies. Like they have had a series of movies that, for better or worse, flubbed. Like they'll say like The Interview was a failure, but I liked it. I thought it was funny. But they've had a lot of failures.
Well, let's be honest. Okay, first off, The Interview was not a good movie. Okay, I mean, first off, if you thought it would be a good movie, you're.
I found it funny. Like I don't think it was a blockbuster, but I just genuinely was entertained. Like for me, if I laugh and I don't think I'd ever watch it again. But like the one time I watched it, I was entertained. Like I thought, hey, this is kind of funny, you know, like. For me, it doesn't have to be a blockbuster movie. Like as long as I laugh a little bit and I can make it through the whole movie.
So this is what you have the issue with. Okay, so the issue with those movies, in particular, Seth Rogen and James Franco, is that they take comedy, and in some cases, some of this time, these movies, they have something if they would just get rid of some of the over-the-top, gratuitous, like just dirty humor. So let's say they get rid of like the shit jokes or like the overly the oh this is yeah we get it, it's a penis, we get that, or dick jokes or semen jokes. If they would just tone it down just a step back, I think they would have a winner. And the fact is they don't want to, and they have every right to be that. I mean that is Seth, and Seth and James did use their own money to do the interview, so it was not like they didn't deserve to do what they wanted to do. But to say that the interview was a flop because of it being the interview, well, that's not necessarily true. The reason why it flopped or did what it did was they would say it was the blame of the hack. They would blame the hack that Korea did to them is why they released it. No, they killed the interview themselves by releasing it for free. They could have still released that movie. Come on, let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
They used that as publicity, and they thought that would give goodwill. And in all honesty, I thought, would I have paid $12 to see this on opening weekend? Yeah, probably. Because I mean, could I compare? Let's take it from the previous statement. Would I pay for the interview over Venom? Yes, I would pay to sit in the theater and watch Interview once. Because no matter how much I hated some of the movie, it still had entertaining parts. It still had things that I thought were interesting. It still hit some dynamics that I thought was interesting. It was a political commentary on North Korea, and it was a parody that I thought was pretty interesting. Now, you removed... I didn't enjoy the dirty, crude humor that was over the top in some areas, but I thought, okay, fine. It was what it is. It's a Seth Rogen movie. I'm not going to Seth Rogen's movies expecting some, like, next-level art.
It's what it is. It's stoner comedy. Like it's like you smoke weed and you're like, yeah. But
well, I guess that's a problem.
You know what has probably been. I mean, I don't want to say they're good, but it's been commercially successful. Is their Jumanji series, and I think that's mostly carried by The Rock and Karen. Like it's the cast. Like Dwayne Johnson
and Kevin Hart have such a bromance on film that they can almost carry a crappy movie. The newer style Jumanji, the one that they're doing, because they're doing this in a trilogy, because that's what they were planning on doing.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept. It is. I'm not going to sit there and say it isn't. I hate the fact that they're doing it because it's just showing how bankrupt Hollywood is for ideas. And it's not really...
I can give them ideas. They want to call me. I can give them...
Well, that's not even the whole truth. The whole truth behind it is that a lot of these bigger publishing companies like Sony, Disney, Marvel, Lucas, Paramount, 20th Century, they don't want to take chances anymore because it's not where the money is.
Yeah, that's why they reboot. Like they want to reboot Princess Bride. I don't know if you saw that. Apparently,
I did see that. They probably won't because the negative backlash alone will be enough to torpedo the...
I don't know. There was a backlash about them rebooting the Ghostbusters, and they still made it anyway.
No, there wasn't. No, this is completely different. There wasn't the issue with the Ghostbuster reboot. The backlash that was there was more fake backlash that they created themselves around the whole idea that people would be upset that they made an all-female cast. And I still support the fact that, hey, if you want to do all-female cast, do it, but do it well. Their failure was hiring one of the worst directors I've ever seen, Paul Feig, in carrying a comedic movie of that kind of caliber.
Especially all those female actresses all those female actors, like in their own right, are incredibly hilarious. Like I have seen them in Saturday Night Live, I have seen them in other movies, and they are all insanely hilarious. So like it was a disservice, that movie, but like all of them individually are hilarious.
Well, here's the biggest issue you had with them. So you have a few issues you can notice with this movie. It was the writing. The writing was a complete disservice. Instead of the original Ghostbusters, the reason why it played so well is that each character in Ghostbusters had their own identity, their own feel, and they played off each other because of it. So you had Egon. You had Egon, the eccentric scientist that was amazing. He is very cold, calculating. He was very dry. You had Venkman, who was a game show host kind of personality. He was the worst character arc of any in academia. He was the pop journalist, the pop scientist who only cared about what was popular at that time, and he would play off those things. Then you had, as I always go back, I try to remember all their names. You had Aykroyd's character, because at this point I can't remember his name, the character they used for him. He was just a loving science. He was just a good all-around guy he wasn't perfect at anything, but he was just really good with knowledge about spirituality, the mythos of stuff, and they all played off each other because of it. They didn't. Not one character would carry anything. They needed all three. In the new remaking, the way they wrote it, they all were all three character types in one person each. None of them were special at all. They all were each other. So then, what did you have to really play off? None of them played with. The chemistry wasn't there because of it. So you had Kristen Wiig, who by right in some movies I can agree with that she is funny. In most times I don't generally enjoy her acting, and I don't think that's really her fault. I think it's more about the choices and the fact that she's a Tina Fey product. You have Melissa McCarthy, who again I've compared her to being the female Chris Farley, except worse. She has the ability to act, because I've seen Melissa McCarthy in movies in roles that I was like, wow, this is her. She can also sing. I didn't know that she could sing. No, she can sing. She's really good at it. And then you had the blonde from Saturday Night Live. I do apologize that I don't know her name off the top of my head, because she does have comedy, and she was out of the three of them. So I'm not counting the black woman, because I can't remember her name either. I do feel that it's offensive that I don't know her name either, because she, in all rights, I've seen her in roles that were kind of funny, but she generally gets, unfortunately, typecasted into one specific role, and I think that's kind of wrong, because I think she has more range than
Kate
that.
McKinnon and Leslie Jones.
There we go.
Kate McKinnon is the blonde, Leslie Jones. I love Kate McKinnon. She cracks me up.
I felt really upset about it, is that Kate McKinnon has the ability to be very funny in something if she gets the right writing, but that movie, there was no saving. And then the way they wrote it so offensively. Like, they wanted to say that everyone didn't like the movie because they were all misogynist assholes. And yeah, I could agree with that if the writing was good. But it wasn't. Every single guy in the movie was not only offensive, but just wrong. And yes, in the original Ghostbusters, there weren't that many female parts. You're right, there wasn't. But they also when they wrote females into the movie, they didn't make them dumb and not interesting. Sandra, oh, no, was that Sandra Bullock? No, it wasn't Sandra Bullock. Oh my God, this is what happens when I don't read up on stuff. The original female character lead in Ghostbusters was written really well. She was her own strong, independent cast. Their secretary, I thought I had never thought that they would write a secretary as interesting as she was. She had her own personality. She had her own meaning in both movies, 1 and 2, which 2 was a little, not as great. But I didn't remember seeing any women in the original Ghostbusters that made me feel that they were negative caricatures of the female archetype. In this new Ghostbusters, every male was a offensively poor rendition of a archetype. Like, they were kind of like attacking men for some reason, and I didn't understand why. I mean, for the love of God, the final fight, the way they beat him is punching him in the balls. Like, really?
I can't say I remember the movie. Like, I watched it and I was genuinely entertained.
Look,
I didn't think it was the best, but I genuinely I watched it. I'm like, okay, it wasn't bad. Like, I was trying to look up some of Sony's old other movies, like their database, and I can't seem to find just I can see all the new movies coming out, like all the ones that are on the radar, and this is gonna be out there. Like, I think the other thing that kind of bummed me out was Men in Black. I don't know.
So
You can just hear the defeat.
So the issue that you have with Men in Black, so Sony has to rethink how they do things. Okay, so I can equate this to one of the recent gaming flops in BioWare's recent history, and I'm sure you know aware of it because a lot of people should be. Anthem. So the reason why Anthem was not the titular release that it should have been wasn't because it didn't get the time it was or allowed it, or because it didn't get the money that it needed. They did that whole game by a lie from a 2017 E3 that they showed the trailer for. That was a lie. They created that trailer just so that they have something to release on 2017 because EA needed something to release that year, for this game, and they pretty much gave EA a bulk of lies. They said, "Yeah, this is what it should look like," knowing full well that the game hadn't even been, the first level hadn't even been created yet, but they were still in pre game development. Well, Men in Black had had a similar fate. They had a lot of issues with writing. They had issues with with actors not getting along in certain things. Actors demanding changes. They had issues with locations. Director fighting with the writers, to the point where you can tell that the main character, what was the point? Her titular goal was to become an agent in Men in Black. There was no actual need. She just wanted to be that. So a movie dictated by want isn't going to bring you anything. It's not interesting to watch. So in the first 15 minutes, she gets her goal. Well, okay. So what's the actual? You have a 2-hour movie to write here. What are you going to make it just all about the fact that she wants to be an agent? Well, you got to have more than just a want. You have to have a need. So like they had a whole backstory of what she saw. Well, and the fact is that you have Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson, both of which have great chemistry on scene together, in a movie that they have no chemistry in, which is amazing because those two could have. I mean, you saw it. You have Kamal Nanjiani. You have nothing. You have a movie of nothing. I'm surprised that it even got the money it got. It shouldn't even have got anywhere near the amount of attention. And that's sad because I loved the original Men in Black. I thought that was great. The 3 first movies, I know the final movie didn't go well, but I thought it was a good way to end the trilogy.
Like I said, it's one of those things that I think sometimes studios are just like, all we have to do is put 1 or 2 big names in it, and it'll put butts in seats. You know, like some people are gonna go to see a Hemsworth. You know, they're gonna go see like. There have been a couple movies The Rock has been in, like that Dwayne's been in, that I'm like,
Well, let's be honest, okay? He's still a wrestler. Okay, so.
And that's why I'm afraid of him. That's why I'm scared of him to this day.
Still runs his movie choices like he's in the WWE, and it's really kind of hilarious because like the Fast and the Furious movies, they're garbage. Okay. They were first about street racing. Can anyone honestly sit there and say that the new Fast and Furious movies are about racing or cars? Because they haven't been about racing or cars since like what the third one was the last one that had any kind of racing. Because now they've always been about cars with thieves or cars with like common heists. I'm sorry, but it's like jumping the shark with a '67 Shelby Mustang.
Yeah. Well, was it Central Intelligence with him and Kevin Hart was kind of like, again, amazing chemistry, but you know, oh, this is my friend from high school who's an accountant. Now he's a spy. You know, now he's in the CIA with, you know, a professional CIA. Like it's just, oh, this mild-mannered everyday guy all of a sudden becomes a super spy. Like, not really.
Well, I mean, that's you can't take the ending of that movie with anything more than a grain of salt because that movie really wasn't meant to be much more than that.
Yeah. But like I said, I genuinely think Dwayne's a great actor. Like his voice, like his voiceover in Moana. Granted, Moana is an animated series, but I thought he did a really good job in Moana. Like,
don't get me wrong, Dwayne, as I like The Rundown, and a lot of my friends and girlfriend don't. They thought the movie was garbage, and in their own right. I mean, I could see it. Really, it was a kind of a very scripted, formulaic kind of movie. I mean, it was one of the older style action films that you knew that was eventually going to be, he's going to have to be the big bad and beat down the big bad guy with his own fists. And it was a very formulaic movie, but I thought they did a really well job portraying the characters. There was character growth slightly there, and it was a very straightforward movie. And sometimes a well-written movie, just even though it might not be some critically acclaimed film, is well received and well needed.
You know what movie I don't think needed to be made? The Good Boys.
The Good Boys.
It's just Good Boys. Have you seen?
Is that the new Seth Rogen movie?
No. The director was Gene Stupinski.
Good Boys. Let me look. Give me a sec here.
I can bring it up for you right now. 3 6th-grade boys ditch school and embark on an epic journey.
Seth Rogen. Yeah,
is it Seth Rogen movie?
Like, yeah, director was Gene, but producer was it was written and
it is literally
it's Seth. It's one of Seth's movies.
Like you are like, didn't Seth make oh my god, what movie that like made Jonah Hill fucking famous?
Oh yeah. I know which one you're talking about. It's the one with Superbad. Yeah, Superbad.
Like this is just Superbad, but with younger kids. Like at least
honestly, that's exactly what some of the critics actually said. So like, Seth wrote the screenplay for Superbad. Okay. So director Greg Mottola did it. Seth wrote it. Evan Goldberg wrote it with him, and then Joe Apatow was the producer. Well, think of the reverse here. He inspired Good Boys, but was producing the Good Boys. Seth Rogen's on the main producing cast for Good Boys. He was a main face for it.
But it's like, was it really necessary?
No, it wasn't, and really, it's also why it's
as a Metascore of 60 on IMDb.
I mean, it is what it is.
It's one of those things like,
it's a movie you go to see once and you never see it again. That's the truth. I mean, it's a movie. It's surprising.
They have an 80 on Rotten Tomatoes.
They have an 86. It's 86. That 80% for critics.
Yeah,
and really, it's.
I just. Why do we need to know about 6th graders carrying drugs and?
It's nostalgia. It's the truth. It's nostalgia. You're taking people back in the old days because it's written like it's a 90s grow-up movie.
I don't ever remember being chased by teenage girls or accidentally stealing drugs.
Because that's again, it's written like a bad 90s movie.
Yeah, I guess it's like I loved Superbad. When it came out, I thought it was hilarious, and I watched it like a dozen times because I was like, this movie's so funny because, like it. Like I said, it's just one of those things that like it was good once. It was good once, and now they're like, we should do it again, but they're younger.
Yeah. Well, again, it's like I said, when the Hollywood's bankrupt, they don't want to take chances, especially Sony's case, because Sony, and I love their whole like first talk about how we are a small company that can afford to give up X amount of revenue. You have one of the most successful gaming franchises, even though I wish it wasn't as successful as it is, because although I love gaming, I think PC gaming is still the best. But but if you look at their future, there's a lot of remakes or sequels on this release list.
One of the sequels that I've heard, which it's sitting at 63 critics, 78 audience, is It Chapter 2. And I've talked to people who are like, it reads more like a comedy. Like, it's not scary.
No, actually. Let's be honest. To be honest with this is that it is not. It was pretty honest. It was exactly what the book was. It was exactly what the original movies were. The second part was never scary. It was one of those things. It was trippy as fuck.
I saw the original It, but I don't ever remember there being a part 2 to the original.
Because no one watched it. It was bad. It was hilariously horrible. It was hilarious. It was. You thought they were making a joke. It's exactly what this new sequel is. Where I was like, why is everyone thinking this is gonna be some scary movie? It's not gonna be that scary. The second half of the book wasn't even scary. It was more of a trip. It really was. It was because that's again, Stephen King is fucking crazy with his writing. And it's not scary. It's not great. It's a trippy road that you have to walk down. And the second part of it, although it will be entertaining for some, will not be something for everyone. Not everyone's gonna like this because the first half of the book is exactly what you saw, which was it has a very extremely thriller-esque kind of movement where you're gonna get shocked and scared in scenes, and then you're gonna have the goofy ending of the first movie. That's exactly how the first half of the book kind of reads, and then how the first half of the first movie series was that it was really scary at times while it had the goofy parts, and then the second part was more goofy, not as much scary, and a weird sci-fi-esque kind of like ending.
Last thing I want to touch on here, movie wise, is the fallout from Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. I mean, it's not his; he is the Joker, but from the Joker, and like some of the outrage that's come before the movie's even been released of people like, this is glorifying incel culture and glorifying like, I was wronged because, now it's my turn to get revenge. Like, I don't know if you've seen some of those news stories, like the army put out a warning of like, hey, to our soldiers, like, if you're going out to the theaters, be careful because the Joker is coming out and we think there's going to be an increase of violence. And apparently, like, on certain, dark websites, there have been like, yeah, this movie is our song to, like, us who have been wronged, to get revenge. There was like a lot of backlash of like, this movie shouldn't be out because it's glorifying somebody who felt wronged, getting revenge, and, the loner outcast who was always picked on, standing up and, getting revenge. I don't know if you saw this, but there was a little bit of like, hey, be careful when going out because there may be, copycats and stuff like that.
The fuck? What?
You didn't hear about that?
No, I didn't. And I'm looking at this like, what are you talking about? Like, far left? What are you talking about? Like, seriously, this is the Joker being... that doesn't even make sense. You know what this is? This is another one of those fake outrage to try and drum up reasons to go watch the movie.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying what I read. Like,
no, I get what you're saying. What you read, I don't think it's credible in majority of it. And from what I quickly just discerned off Snopes and that, it doesn't look to be that credible. Again, I mean, always take any of that.
Yeah, I mean, Snopes usually does a pretty good job of
research.
Yeah.
Here's one last movie thing. In what world did you think Peter Rabbit deserved the sequel?
None.
Sony releases it April 3rd, 20.
Really?
Peter Rabbit 2. That's exactly what I would say.
I like, wait, saw what? Something about like what was it? Oh, it was along the lines of like in the original they try to get back at the farmer by like trying to kill him because he's allergic to something, so they put it in his food to make him have an allergic reaction. And people were pissed because they're like, well, my kid has a peanut allergy. What if someone sees this and thinks, oh, this is funny, I know this kid at school has a peanut allergy, so I'm gonna put this like, people were genuinely pissed off about them like using someone's allergy to try and kill them. Like, I shit you not. Like, this is this was back when the original one came out, but like people were genuinely like, that guy has a serious allergy, and the character in the movie is like, haha, let's, lace his food with this stuff and get back at him,
Oh, I didn't know they were doing this either.
Doing what?
Bad Boys 4.
Oh yeah, yeah. Is it the last one? I think that's like the send off, like the final. I don't know, like if they're going to do another one after that one. I thought that was kind of like the, hey, this is it for that franchise. Because I mean, it's how many years has it been since the last Bad Boys movie? Like a decade or so.
Yeah, it's been a while, and they have that new one coming out, Bad Boys for Life, in January.
Yeah.
But they have on their docket, they have Bad Boys 4 still listed as one of the upcoming.
That's.
So I guess this next one isn't what they made it out to be. It might not be its final. But of course, they're still showing the Amazing Spider-Man 3 and 4 on their docket too. So,
Andrew, we need you. It's not.
hey, look, like I said, I honestly said when I said I felt that they shouldn't have given up on the Amazing Spider-Man franchise because I thought they did. I thought they did her death, Gwen Stacy's death, very well, and the only reason I hated it was because they kind of cheapened it slightly in a way by having a great Electro villain being marred by such a quick, crappy Goblin.
Yeah.
Where they could have just saved it for the third movie.
They don't ask my opinion. Like I said, I'm honestly like, it's one of those things that like, yeah, there's some stuff I'm enjoying that's, you know, like Ad Astra I'm definitely gonna go see because anything with space in it. But yeah, there's just like another Angry Birds movie. It's just too many reboots, too many like, hey, you know, how many times can we make a movie with a shark? But then again, like I said, there you can only have so many before you're like, well, you know, we've kind of run out of animals. But it was good. It was a good time, you know. Had fun. Should definitely do this again. Chat more. Maybe next time we'll bring up the video game. The absolute travesty that some of the, and actually my excitement for the new Borderlands and my looking forward to becoming a hermit when Cyberpunk comes out.
You don't like Cyberpunk anyway.
Oh, I look forward to it. Like when that comes out, I'm just not going to exist for a while. Between Borderlands 3 and Cyberpunk, I'm going to be pretty busy. But this was good. To everyone who listens, thanks for hanging out. Feel free to throw a like and a subscribe on it for more content. Have a great day. Have a great day, guys.